Welcome to Dare, the show for startup leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs who dare to shape the future. Dare is brought to you by the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network, OEN, and Darwaft, the superpower tech team that can make your vision a reality. The Dare podcast is excited to welcome Mony Coffman to the show. He is the founder and CEO of OMNI, which is an interesting company that is focused on mobile electric charging, automated battery swap stations, and a peer-to-peer charge sharing app. So very excited to have you on the show. It seems like your company is on the cutting edge right now with all the electric vehicles.
Yes, thank you for having me, Ned. I really appreciate you taking the time to interview. But yeah, Omni is currently trying to build and support the future for, electric vehicles. We're pivoting towards electric fleets more so right now, things like Waymos, off the top of my head, FedEx trucks, anything that's currently electrifying their fleet capabilities. So we have
Yeah.
a lot of rental car companies doing the same thing. Hertz is being pressured along with the other rental car companies to sort of electrify their fleet. So we want to be their backbone in this.
Absolutely. So how long has your company been around?
It's been 5 months so far. So very early stage. We are just trying to expand our team. We got some really interesting guys on the team that have been very excited. So it's been refreshing, validating our mission so far.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So what got you going in the space? Do you have a background in electric charging or?
No, so actually I graduated with an aerospace degree in 2021. I worked in a couple companies in that industry for 3, 4 years, but that was more so me getting a job after college.
Yeah,
My
we all
passion
have
has
to do
always
that, right?
yeah, exactly. My passion has always been, vehicles. So Omni actually started off as a idea for an electric car brand. That's where we started, but as soon as we got rolling with that, we started seeing these pressure points, these pain points in the industry regarding the infrastructure and the charging that's really stifling how these new brands can get their feet and get going. So, we pivoted to that, and that's kind of how we are moving these days.
Okay, you say we, and tell me about your team.
So, currently, I have my co founder, longtime friend, Hillary Smith. She has been my right hand man this entire time. We wouldn't be here without her encouraging me and just giving me that push to believe in myself and believe in my vision. So she's great. We worked together for a while. She's studied physics and biomedical engineering in school. So, we just kind of combined our visions and have been able to get this off the ground. And recently we hired a technical program manager, great guy, super experienced in the field. He is working more so as our director of strategies currently. He's
Yeah.
super tapped into the industry, so we've been using him for guidance and getting in front of the right people. So that's currently our team. Still expanding, but
Yeah, well, this is an exciting time. I know there's a lot of electric startups doing different kinds of things around electric vehicles and charging,
mhm.
et cetera. So tell me how you guys are different and how you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, so we are currently trying to provide a platform, not so a specific form of charging. We want to be an
Mm.
all-encompassing platform for these fleets. We want to act as their infrastructure. The blockage point that a lot of these new companies are facing in the electrification process is the infrastructure itself. They don't have the capital or they don't want to spend that capital on just having a permanent, charging redo.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of be that bridge solution for them. That's going to be our niche. That's what we're targeting. We want to help the smaller companies get off the ground. For example, we have Waymos out in San Francisco taking all of the electric charging for the other unmanned cars that are trying to get that initial traction. So we want to kind of insert ourselves in that process with some of the new technology that we've been working towards and researching. So yeah, that's kind of where our niche is currently.
Well, that's really exciting. So do you have any specific IP that is protecting your work there or that is makes you guys unique and distinct?
Not currently. We're getting our engineering team this week. We have a couple interviews scheduled. We have some very conceptual designs going on. I don't really feel like can be shared at the moment, but
Really? You
um
aren't going to share all your IP with us right now?
not
Yeah.
yet, not yet. But maybe one day.
Yeah.
Once we're a little bit more protected. But as you said, we're still pretty early stage, so everything we're doing is pretty stealth and yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, well, I'm curious, and this is kind of a leading question, but you're a smart guy. You have an engineering background. You have all these capacities. Why start a company? Why not take the easy route of like joining somebody else's, why not join Tesla or Lucid or somebody else who's already out there? What led you to like decide I'm going to take the plunge?
Honestly, I don't wanna attribute it to my ego, but I just I've had a lot of people just believe in me, and I believe in myself, and I feel like not to diss the other people, but I feel like we could do it better. I
Yeah.
feel like we see niches, we're starting at a very interesting point in the electrification journey. I feel that we are gonna be able to put together a team that can see where these problems really need to be addressed. So, I feel like that's kinda more so why we wanted to branch out and do this ourselves instead of being acquired or acqui-hired in that sense.
Yeah. So you think you can see where the puck is going, huh? That's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Yeah.
I feel like that's always what gets people into these entrepreneurial fields. It's like you feel that you can get to where other people can't, can see things differently. And we're betting on ourselves. If we're wrong, that's unfortunate, but we feel like we're right in this and we'll be able to cut out a piece of the pie for us.
Yeah. So you said you think you can kind of see the future, see where the puck is
Mhm.
going. So tell us what that future entails. Like, what's the future of electric vehicles, if you could be so bold?
I think it's gonna be, all encompassing. I think it's gonna be anything that can move will move electrically. I think we're moving away from these fossil fuels. I hope that we are. That's our greater vision because everyone needs cars, everyone needs to go somewhere, everyone needs to transport something, whether it be a payload, whether it be, your family. We need to find a way to move more efficiently with more consciousness to the climate. We're gonna run out of fossil fuels eventually. We can't keep burning these emissions off
Yeah.
into the atmosphere. So I feel personally that we have no other choice but to electrify. We're working on there's so much money going into an energy research these days. We just don't see any other course of action for the automobile industry. So we want to be up there. We want to be contributing to that infrastructure. So I think it's inevitable. So we want to get our foot in the door and no shade to the other players in the game, but it's a big task and we don't think whoever is out there right now can do it by themselves. So we want to be a player in that game.
Fantastic. What would you say to an entrepreneur who's just starting out in this field, just I guess generally in the startup world, and then more specifically in the electric game?
In the startup world, I would say just be ready to learn every day. I'm an engineer coming from a very heavy engineer background. I don't have an MBA. I took maybe one entrepreneurship class in school. So you're learning every single day. Just be ready for that. You learn from everyone you speak to, learning from you in this interview
Yeah.
currently. You just got to be ready to take information, take feedback from people, especially investors and people who can poke holes in your theory. Because I think that's the best part of this is when I get to bring this idea up to other people and they poke holes in it. And I'm like, okay, it's very valid. I got to really get back to the drawing board and rethink
Right.
this. But you can't just sink. You have to kind of patch the holes up. So I think just being kind of durable in that sense and just ready to learn, ready to kind of pivot. My uncle, very dear mentor to me, he said sometimes you have to kill your darlings, which is
Right.
basically our initial idea wasn't going to work. So we had to really pivot. And we still carry parts of that with us, but we're on a completely different direction right now. So I think that's important for anyone getting into the startup sphere. And then specifically for the electric industry, electrification, just try to find your niche. We have a lot of companies that are blanket solutions right now. A lot of companies that have a couple years in the game got a jump start on us, but we think that there's room, and I think there's room for other players as well. We're not going to be able to cover every base. I think we're just going to try to cover this base really well, and there's other bases that need to be covered well. So probably just find your niche and stick to it as much as you can.
Right. Well, if you could speak a little bit to what the field looks like around you. I mean, you
Hmm.
mentioned there are other people playing in the space. Who else is out there and how do you compete effectively against them? I'm not asking you to dish your competitors, but just to kind
Yeah,
of lay out the ecosystem.
yeah. We're a multifaceted company currently, so we have the mobile charging aspect. Spark Charge is a big player in that. They probably have the most traction in that field, I'd say.
Hmm.
But they started off in a consumer-based market. They wanted to be that last mile charging stranded vehicles, kind of like a AAA
Yeah.
service for electric cars. We see the appeal in that, and a lot of other people did, but we feel that the best way to get into the game would be acknowledging these large fleets, these like big industrial trucks, these automated vehicles where time is of the essence. Anytime your vehicle is idle charging, you're losing money. So you're losing money, you're losing availability. So that's how we're kind of trying to differentiate from them in the mobile charging sphere. I will say that our swap, I think you saw it on the website.
Yeah.
Our swap idea for battery swaps, it's being tested. We're thinking about moving this a little further into the future. Some of the key players in that industry right now are NIO. It's a China-based company. They are able to work with that kind of technology because all of their battery systems are standardized. That's a big block for this kind of technology. Another player would be Ample. I think they're a European-based in Spain
Yeah.
company, but yeah, they're also working with battery replacement, automated robots to kind of handle that, get you back on the road in 5 minutes as opposed to like a 15-20 minute charging cycle.
Right.
And
Which
yeah,
is
so
like, if you're driving, you just want to
mhm.
keep moving, right?
Yeah, you just wanna I feel like in the average driver's day, a gas refilling your gas doesn't take more than 5 minutes. So we wanna eventually get to that. That's the goal in this industry revamp. But we want to be able to bring these services to a fleet, kind of customize that for their needs, tailor it, provide a platform for them. So, that's how we're kinda differentiating between these other companies.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're building a great team. You have some great IP. You have a plan for the future. You know where you're going. You have engineering
Mhm.
talent, including yourself. So I'm curious though, they say it takes a village. So who's been your village in Portland and beyond? Who
Yeah,
helped you get off the ground?
absolutely. I spoke about it earlier in the interview, but I just have a lot of people who really truly believe in me. It's one of my biggest blessings. My co-founder, she's great. My parents, a lot of my friends that I've made out here. I'm not specifically a Portland native, but my mother's family is from here. So there's tons of people that have been looking out, getting me in front of the right people to speak to. One of our friends told us about OEN. That's how I'm eventually here today to speak with you today. So
Yeah.
just people who believe in me and the vision and have used their resources and connections to kind of get me where I need to be to get this off the ground. So I would say definitely friends and family and then coworkers. You really never, I don't know, just I'm getting emotional. Sorry, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
very, very
Oh,
blessed.
there's so many people that help any startup, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic to have you as part of the community here. I'm curious if you've been able to plug into any OEN events or other events in Portland or any of the communities like on Slack that you've been able to
Mhm.
find common cause with in terms of people doing startups here.
Yeah, definitely. So OEN, we were put onto OEN maybe 3 months ago. We wanted to get better with our pitches because we had a lot of information technology business models. These are all things that are the day to day now, but we were very new to this when we first started it. So we wanted to practice at OEN's Pitch Please event. So we've done that twice. And yeah, so we've met a lot of really cool people, saw a lot of good ideas, got saw some really good pitch decks that we, took some inspiration from. But also within Oregon, I think TIEXL, they have a
Yeah.
incubator boot camp that we just were accepted into. So we're excited to start that.
Congratulations. That's a
Thank
big
you.
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much. I think that'll really help us kind of polish our idea, find ways to really expand in our niche. So we start that at the end of the month. So we're very excited about that.
Great. Well, what do you expect to get out of the TIE incubator program?
Probably just more people poking holes. That's what we want. But they have a whole curriculum kind of lined out for things like the nitty gritty cap sheets, just how to cold open with investors and stuff like that. Just in polishing our ideas up, getting our business model to be a little bit more robust, and then just getting us in front of. I think we have 2 pitches in front of investors during this
Mhm.
program, so that's going to be. I'm already nervous about it, but I'm sure we'll do fine. And that's what we're most excited about for that program. Just getting in front of the people that can actually make this a reality.
Fantastic. Well, just to wrap up, this is an exciting opportunity. Sounds like OmniCharge is really going to go the distance. Tell me what you dare to dream.
Would I dare to dream? I've always been pretty conscious of the climate, of what, humanity has done to the planet. I didn't, when I was younger, I didn't care enough to be an environmental engineer, but, it's always been something that's held with me. So I think just I dare to leave a legacy in this industry, just letting people know that we care about the planet, we care about technology, but we also want the world to advance in a way that isn't hurting the potential of the future generations. We want this beautiful world to be passed down to our children. I'm a big family man. I want to feel comfortable starting a family and then starting a legacy in a world that's going to be around in a couple years. So I think our goal, me personally, and then Omni's mission is just to contribute in a significant way to a more sustainable future, more
Mhm.
sustainable transportation. So I think that's what we want to move with.
Exciting. Well, we wish you all the best in your startup journey and hope to have you on the show in a year or so when you're fully funded and have taken over the world.
Thank you so much, Ned. We will definitely be back. We appreciate it.
Have a
Thank
good
you so
one.
much.
Thanks to our guests today for their insights into the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We wish you all the best in your startup journey. The Dare Show is brought to you by the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network and by Darwaf, the superpower tech team that can make your vision a reality. Visit us at oen.org or at darwaf.io. Thanks again for listening. Till next time.